Yes, so starting this video as a proper week in life video. Let's see how we get on. So yeah, it is actually Monday today. It's week commencing 28th of February 2022, of course. So yeah, it's Monday today. Our plan is to do most of, if not all of week, doing the CX, see how I get on. Yeah, so this morning, well, before I go on to it, fuel prices. So obviously quite a lot's happened since the last video in terms of world events. Obviously Russia invaded Ukraine and stuff. So I'm not going to go into that because it's not that kind of vlog, is it? But it has affected the fuel price. Fuel price is already high. It's gone up again, about 2.5 pence, I think, since last week. So yeah, about just under 2 pence. So you know, it was already high, so it's gone up again. All down to Vladimir Putin. But anyway, fuel prices this week's UK fuel, which is the Shell one I get through UK Fuels, is 122.62. That's their revised price. Can't remember what it was originally. It was more than that. And then I got a text message from off this morning saying, "We noticed you haven't used your card in a while. Press this link to get a better price." Did that, and that was the price I got. The BWOC or BWOC card is 122.56, so marginally cheaper compared to the revised Shell card price. So even though UK Fuels one is slightly more expensive, 0.08, I'm just going to use it this week because it's easier to use and I haven't used it for a while. So I'll keep the other one, BWC BWOC, keen. So with the VAT, that's 147.15. That's what I'm paying for my diesel this week. So this week, at the beginning today, the van was in the garage yet again. So 2 weeks ago today, it went in to be diagnosed, the issue or whatever, because the spanner light was on and it said check fuel injection, and also cruise control stopped working. So they said it was a coolant temperature sensor and it's been in today. Had that fitted. I booked it in first thing 8 o'clock. I said to them I need it doing, in the morning so I can work the rest of the day, and they did actually do it this time. So it was ready just before 12. I'd gone for a walk, so I got back there just after 12, picked the van up, and the light's not come on now, and the cruise control's working, which is nice. Nice to have that back. So I started looking for jobs just after 12, and then I got a job at 20 past 2. The feed was very quiet, to be honest, considering I was in the West Midlands, the heart of the Black Country. I was sat between Brierley Hill and Stourbridge. My home location was still set to Walsall, so I was covering quite a big busy area in terms of notifications. But yeah, it was pretty quiet. And it's one of those ones when the phone does ring, it's like, I was quite shocked to get the call. I quote, it was a long wheelbase van from Willenhall, which is just kind of off the M6, sort of by Bilston sort of way, between the M6 and Wolverhampton, but really close to the M6 junction 10. Long wheelbase van going down to Sidcup, which is obviously Kent, sort of like southeast London really. I got it 157 point something miles, the job, and I quoted 158. So I thought, well, if I'm going down there, it has to be for decent money, and obviously I had the Dartford crossing to come out of that. So it's worth 156, say, to me. I was only like 10 miles from it, so it worked out all right. Went and collected it. Turns out it was one of 4 vans. It's like 4 point something tons of stuff, flat roofing stuff. So I carried 70 sort of like chipboard sheets, tongue and groove. It's obviously the board that they put on a flat roof, and they put the felt over it or whatever, the rubber layer. So it was handball loading, but there was 2 of them helping, so it didn't take long to get loaded at all really. So obviously no charge there or anything. Came down here. It's a bit weird down here, a bit of a tail on this one. So it was a residential address and it was number 218 on this particular road. Turns up, it's 218. It's just a standard looking house with a normal roof, no flat roof, and I thought this doesn't look right. No van or workers anywhere near it. So I went and knocked on the door. Guy just looked totally confused, and I was like, oh, don't worry about it, mate. Obviously something's gone wrong here. I'll have to ring the office and find a proper address. Sorry to disturb you. Rang the shipper. They rang the customer and came back and said, no, it's sorry, they say now it's 335 on the same street, which was about 100 yards down the road. So it goes down there, and that was a fairly newishly built, very modern looking block of flats with no flat roof either. So this didn't look right either, and by that point the shipper had said, oh, they've come out and they'll be waiting for you. There's no one there looking for a delivery. So ring the shipper again, and then one of the other vans, he turns up as well, and I'm chatting to him, and then this guy pulls up or drive past in a Mercedes and says, oh yeah, it's down here, mate. It's down by the who was the guy I was delivering to, down by some grey hoardings or whatever, which was just next to, or just 4 houses up from the first one, 318. It was 326 or something. But obviously he'd headed in the wrong direction, so I went up there, and I just started to feel this is a bit dodgy, because you got to be, when you got like a vague address or the address isn't wrong, and then somebody's just cruises past and says, oh yeah, it's down here, mate, down here, kind of like think, And before I set off, the shipper rang me and says, with this job, can you get a photo of the goods delivered, and also with whoever signs for it in the photo? And I was like, well, I can try, but some people just don't like to be photographed, just don't like it, and it's a bit of an odd request. So I said I'd try, and he kind of mentioned the guy on the phone, his boss thought it might be dodgy. So I've never had this before. Might be something sinister going on. So I rang them up before I delivered it. I said, this is the situation. The guy's just pulled up and said, in his car, and said it's down here, and it's 4 doors up from the original door address I was given, and it's just a construction site, which is early stages of construction. The gates are open. It's obviously dark now when I was tipping this. Should I just crack on, deliver it? What do I do? The fact that he'd said to me, mentioned it potentially being dodgy, kind of got me thinking. I thought I definitely need to clear it with them. They said, yeah, just deliver it. Try and get a photo of the goods, which I did, but they weren't in the photo. And he said, take a note of their registration number of the car and put it in the job notes. So I did that, and I also took a photo sneakily of their car showing a number plate, and then just tipped it, which was a bit of a ball ache. A shitty, dirty construction site. It was only like a single house plot of land. That was it. So hopefully I just get paid for that as normal, and you never know, it could have been dodgy. I don't think it was, probably was fine, to be honest, because they did have the power turned on at this plot, because they might just clock a plot and think, right, we'll get some goods delivered there tonight, break the lock on the gate or whatever, pretend it's kind of our place, our site, get stuff delivered there, and then get it out of there tonight or whatever. You just don't know, do you? But basically, if the goods are being released, it's either one of their regular customers and they got an account that people are collected from, in which case, they've done all the checks on a regular customer, or people won't, if you haven't got an account, people don't give you goods unless you paid for them. So I don't know. Anyway, it's not really down to me. That I've kind of covered myself, and wait and see what happens. Well, I just get paid really. even if this was getting nicked, I did everything I could do, so I still expect to get paid, even if it did go walkabouts or whatever. Not my issue. So that was the Monday. So 158 quid for that, but like I say, started midday. Now down Sidcup Way, just off the A2, sort of East London, south of the river, Thames of course, and that's it. For Monday, bit of a strange start to the week. Right, Tuesday night now, 9:20. Not a great day today, so I did actually manage to get a job reasonably quickly. So because I was actually tipped that job yesterday quite late, because I started late and it's quite a longest job, and faffing around trying to find a delivery place. And then I watched a bit of stuff on the tablet. By the time I got to bed, it was like 11, maybe half 11. Just tramped on a residential street, quiet out the way kind of place. And then, yes, I didn't get up till 7:30, start looking for jobs sort of like 7:45. I think I got a job about 9:15. This job, so I was in sort of Dartford area, or Sidcup, a bit further into London and Dartford itself, just off the A2. And there's a fair few jobs going up in the morning. Quite a few I'd missed because I was still in bed. Not that I looked through to see whether they were suitable, just jobs that had pinged up. I could see how many notifications I had when I started looking. But obviously you get more jobs in London from the west of London around Heathrow. But then you still get quite a few around Sidcup and Dartford, that kind of way. So I thought, I'm not in a decent place for jobs pinging up, but usual story with London, hard to get a job because there's loads of competition. I did bid on a few jobs I didn't get before I got this job. The job I did get, it was one of these ones that says no e-quotes, phone only. Rang the guy, straight to answer phone, so text the guy with my price. I said, what job was, where it was going from to, what my price was, and then just my name and my CX number. And he rang me up and gave me it. So I went in a bit keen on this just to get the hell out of there. So it was a long wheelbase job. Yeah, it was long wheelbase. And it was 115 miles, and I went in at 105 quid. But I had 11 miles to get there, so I think 85 pence a mile all the way through, including getting there. Should have been 108, I think. I rounded it down to 105, just because, it's kind of just to get out of London, really. Try and get moving pretty early on. I was going to Swindon. So I got the job, went and collected it. A bit of a strange one on this. When he rang me up to give me it, he was driving, so he said, I can't send it through for 10 minutes. Or, it might take me 10 minutes to pull over and sort it all out. Do it on his phone sort of thing. Send it through to me. And he did send it through. He seemed a pretty honest guy. But I was sat in Tesco anyway, gave me a chance to nip in and get some water. And some other bits I needed for the day. And then a bit of a strange one, because I got to the pickup and then he rang me up and says, what time did you say you could be at pickup? It sounded a bit narked kind of thing. I said to him, well, I'm here now. Goods on board. I'm just waiting for the paperwork. And he's like, oh, right, okay. All right, great then. I said, why did you not get a notification I was on site? Because I'd marked myself as on site. And he's like, no. And you haven't accepted a job either. And I thought, well, that's odd. But then I said to him, I have accepted it because I marked myself as on site, and I can't mark myself on site if I haven't accepted a job. And then he goes, oh, well, as long as you're on site. I think what's happened is he's doing it on his app, and maybe he hadn't refreshed the app, or, and can't see my status, or he hasn't got notifications set up. But anyway, I got loaded, 2 pallets, really light pallets, really straightforward drive over to Swindon, got them tipped. 12:20, and then really straightforward tip. So it took me quite a while to get a job after that. So I sat in one car park until about 3:30, and I had to move on because I was going to get one of these silly tickets. Try not to do that again. Then I moved to the Sainsbury's down the road from the retail park I was sat in, and I was probably sat there for another hour, so getting on for 4:30, maybe later. I'd bid on a job from Swindon, it's like SN2 to SN3 or something, 6 miles, and I was 2 miles from it. And I thought, well, that's a minimum charge, could go cheaper, but no, I'm not going to. I'm just going to go 40 quid minimum charge. Didn't get it straight away. I got it after like 10-15 minutes. It turned out to be picking up from a second-hand car spares specialist in Swindon, of course, and taking it to a parcel delivery hub. Not the ones that you see a lot of on the CX, not the herpes collections. It was for another international courier, but parcel delivery network, and they also do to general distribution as well, big contracts and that. So that was that job. So that job wasn't too bad really. Probably took me about an hour, 40 quid, 8 miles. Topped it up for the day. So I'm on 105 for the first job, 40 quid for that. So it's 145 quid for a day, which is obviously a poor day by normal standards. It's still very quiet, the CX. I'm finding this week, obviously I did one day last week. Kind of hope it would pick up a bit more by this week. Not the case, I'm finding. Hard going. Currently sat in Morrison's car park. Quite a modern looking Morrison's on the eastern side of Swindon. 5 degrees C. Pretty miserable outside, raining. Gonna tramp tonight. Gonna try and I'm gonna get to bed earlier and get up earlier. And then start to, I'll try and have a better day tomorrow, but at least that 40 quid, if it's 105 quid for the day, I've been really disappointed, but 145 now, it's like not altogether a horrendous day for the time of year, and it's pushed up my pence per mile for the week, doing 8 miles for 40 quid, that soon boosts the rate up overall for the week, so that's alright. So yeah, fingers crossed I just have a better day tomorrow. Yesterday was a half day, so 158. I've done less today, even though I was looking at it from like 7:45 or something. But that's just how it goes. Yeah, that's it so far. Right, as you can probably tell, I'm not in my normal work clothes and I'm not in the van, so have a guess what I've been doing today. But today is actually Thursday, so just to, why is it doing that? I put it on silent. Because yeah, so yesterday I tramped in Swindon, in the Morrison's car park. Obviously I checked there's no parking restrictions or whatever. Started looking for jobs, I think about 7:15, maybe 7:30. Got my first job eventually just before 11. Wasn't that, well, how far was that? I don't know. It was a 75-mile short wheelbase job. It was a medium wheelbase, can't remember. It wasn't long wheelbase, I know that much. You quoted, and it was 85 miles, and I quoted 75 quid, and I got it, which is kind of low, but it was, I think it was a short wheelbase job. I had a few miles to get to it, not that many. So all in, unloaded miles, getting there, unloaded miles, doing the job, priced at 85 pence a mile straight through. And that was going from Swindon to Miskin, which is just to the west of Cardiff. And what was that? That was a load of wood on a pallet, something to do with packaging. I delivered it to a massive place. They do medical equipment, apparently. Never heard of them, but a huge place, and they're expanding. There's quite a lot of big factories, like high-tech stuff in South Wales. Definitely some good industry, modern industry down there. And then I actually got a job before I'd left that place. Pulled over, scanning my pod to the CX and all that usual jazz. And while I was doing that, obviously the feed's not mega busy down there, but a few jobs pinged up, and one was Bridgend, which I was 15 miles from pickup,
So it's pickup Bridgend. It was a medium wheelbase, this one, going to Newport. It's 30 miles. And I thought, well, possibly min charge for that 40 quid, but really that's a bit low. I thought maybe 50. So in the end, I just thought go in between, went 45 quid, got it. When I picked it up, 2 really long sort of pallet stroke crate things, which probably had like roller shutters in them, 500 kilograms worth. So they were really long. I managed to get them both in the back doors next to each other. So they were about 60 centimetres each, so it was like the same width of the UK pallet. So they fitted next to each other in the back, but a bit of an odd load, really, really long sort of pallet stroke crate thing. Pretty straightforward job, from some like warehouse to another big place, big factory that makes sort of office furniture and stuff apparently. So not quite so high tech, but still another big place. So I tipped that. I was done there. When was I done there? Just before 3 o'clock. So that job took me nearly 2 hours, you see. It probably took me just over 2 hours for 45 quid, so it didn't work out great on a pounds per hour on the job. But in terms of pence per mile, it wasn't too bad. It was about £1 a mile, and it got me to Newport. There's jobs in Newport. Go back to Cardiff. You can get up to Valleys pretty quick if a job comes up, not too far away. And you can go over the bridge to Bristol, so my catchment area is better. I don't know why I took the job. And I did actually get another job, which was, but it fell through. It said delivering a dishwasher, and it said, sack truck required, which I obviously carry. So I bid 40 quid for it. It's only a 10-mile job. He rings up and says, yeah, I just need to ring the customer, make sure they're in. I noticed that I've never done a job for the shipper before, but I think they do a lot of like furniture deliveries and stuff for stores. And then he rang me back and says, yeah, I can't get hold of the customer, so the delivery point, so probably best leaving it. So that was a bit of a ghost job, as they call them. Fell through. But that wasn't massively gutted. And then my plan for them was, like, I'm not done great. I was thinking, tramping, pretty miserable, still weather. Monday was okay, considering it was like pretty much a half day, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and Wednesday up to that point, I'd done 120 quid. So 75 and 45. It was like late afternoon. I thought, if I don't get anything by 5, I'm just going home. Call it a day for the CX, working the CX this week. And that's what happened. I did bid on other jobs, didn't get them. So I was only like just under 2 hours from home. So I just drove home, nice and steady, saving fuel, 60 mile an hour max, up the M50. It's quite a nice drive. It's still light. Plan being, I just go and do Amazon in my car rest of the week, which is what I'm doing today, Thursday. So yesterday, by the end of yesterday afternoon, I'd booked my blocks in for both today, Thursday, and tomorrow, Friday. So same thing both days from Droitwich, which is what they call the Worcester depot. A lot easier to get jobs here than it is like the ones closer to home, Birmingham and that. So both days I'm doing a 3.5 hour block at 8:30, which is, it's like same day delivery they call it, but it's kind of like overnight, before 1 o'clock delivery. It's the same, they're kind of scattered. And then both days 1 o'clock I'm doing a 3-hour block, which I've just finished today. And that's the standard delivery, so they tend to be most closer together. So I've done that today. So I got to the depot about 8:15, because you can check in 1/4 hour early. And I finished this second block 3:15. So that's 7 hours from when I got to the depot to when I to collect my first block to finishing the second block. So I've obviously got drive 2 here, and I'm in Stourport now, so I've got to drive home 50 minutes. That's kind of like a commute. So if I just took the time from when I got to the depot to when I finished my last drop on the second block, That's 7 hours, probably cleared about 75, maybe 80 quid today, probably more like 75 to be honest. So yeah, just over a tenner. That's just taking into account fuel. It cost me 19 pence a mile in this car because it takes super unleaded, and the price of fuel at the moment, it's like 160 a litre, and when I'm doing these jobs it gets kind of high 30 mpg. I don't hammer it around because obviously the car's full of parcels. So that's what it's gone today. It's going to be the same tomorrow. I have noticed with these morning blocks, a 3.5 hour block, which would have been of course before Christmas a 4 hour block, so they like chopped it all down. It is actually taking me 3.5 hours because they're scattered, and whether it's in the countryside or whether it's in the towns, it's taking me 3.5 hours, and that's just to get to a last drop. So as if what happened last week with one drop, I couldn't deliver it, and I had to drive back to a depot. It took me like 4 hours really to do the block because I had to go back to the depot and only get, you know, for 3.5. So, and I don't hang around. I've been doing this for a long time. There's a water coming in the car. Got my window open. You silly thing. What are you doing? It's got a keyless ignition on this, and for some reason it's not recognising the keys in the car. There we go. Better. So yeah, that's a bit crap to be honest, but because it is a morning block, at least I can get that done. The afternoon blocks, like normally the 3 hour blocks taking me like 2 hours to do. Today's one took slightly longer than that because most of it was like driving between drops. There wasn't many where I could park up and deliver without moving the car. Just really the last maybe half a dozen or so. So yeah, it's strange how they work it out. I think they've gone too far with cutting the hours down. You do see some people, they do it 2 people in a car, so 1 person driving, 1 person getting out and delivering. And what Amazon do is the quicker people do it, the less time they give people to do it, the less pay they'll do it. So they're not doing anybody any favours really. And some people just go like, you know, absolute like the clappers. But there's no need really, just kind of just try and be fast and efficient and get it done. And the reason I had to take a parcel back last week, it's worth mentioning, Amazon have introduced this thing on Flex now, one-time password. So for high value goods, say whatever you're delivering to a phone or something like that, you can't deliver it unless the customer tells you a 6-digit password, all numbers. And they don't get that until you've got to the address and said you're on site, and then they'll get emailed immediately this password. So if they're not in, or what happened last week, big farmhouse on the middle of a hill, on the top of a hill in like West Worcestershire, absolutely stunning place, really nice guy, obviously lived there and he worked there at his office there, God knows what he did, but it's obviously minted, and it was his son who'd ordered something, but his son was in school, so he couldn't get hold of his son, so the son couldn't get the 6-digit password. So I said, sorry mate, I can't give it you then. I had to take it back and take it to the depot. And he was, you know, a nice gentleman, but like I've heard stories of, you know, people getting arsy about it, saying, well, I need it, you're not leaving, I need it, you know what I mean, you're not taking it back, no, I need it, sort of thing. I haven't got the password, but I need it, give it me, sort of thing. And getting really arsy with the delivery people like me. I've never had that, but I just think it's another thing Amazon really should have done. Just kind of cause a lot of aggro. I haven't had it yet, but I'm only doing it now because the CX is so quiet, and that's it. So that's up to the end of Thursday. Going to trundle home now. I'll have a relaxing night tonight. I'm a bit knackered for some reason. And then same again tomorrow. Right, Friday, sort of late afternoon, early evening now. So outside the house, just do a last on the run update. So yes, another day of flex today, and exactly the same blocks as I did yesterday. So a 3.5 hour from starting at 8:30, and then a 3 hour starting at 1 o'clock. The first block was, I knew it was going to be same day or next day, so it's going to be a bit scattered. And then the 1 o'clock one is standard delivery, so I was hoping they're going to be more close, bunched together kind of thing. If yesterday, actually, looking back on yesterday, it went pretty well. Didn't do that many miles yesterday. Did like 120 odd miles or something. So I probably did, just taking into account fuel, as in running costs, because I'm in my car, probably did about 80 quid yesterday profit. And then the afternoon one, yeah, I didn't end up too far from home kind of thing. It was all right yesterday, really, even though what I said still stands about the morning one, especially not having enough time since they cut down a block. And if you do need to go back to the depot, you're doing it in your own time, like, because you've used all the time to deliver the parcels, and I don't hang around. I'd say I'm an experienced multi-dropper. Today was a bit of a shocker, really frustrating day, pretty fed up now. Got there as usual, went and collected my block, and then when I scanned, you have a cage, and scanned the code on the cage, and then it shows you where your drop sag, shows you a map view, and I was confronted with this. Have a look at this. Yep, as soon as I saw that, I thought, oh dear, this is going to be an absolute nightmare. So, middle of Birmingham, sort of Ed Baston way, and also like actual central Birmingham, in the CAS, within that little ring road. The CAS thing doesn't bother me because I don't pay it, but it's just I knew it was going to be a nightmare because where it is, obviously all the traffic, it's hard to stop. There's loads of like no stopping and no unloading zones. Lots of blocks of flats, student accommodation, and that's exactly how it worked out. Plus it was like 40 minutes to get there, 22 miles to my first drop. I was hitting it, sort of 9ish, just after 9, so still kind of tail ends of rush hour. And it was a nightmare, loads of student accommodation, different blocks, buzzer, to get in and press the number of the flat, no one answers, and just generally a nightmare. So I was thinking on the way up there, I might not get this done because I've got to be back for one, and I'm coming back for one because I need to do 2 blocks to make it worthwhile. So I'll crack on and see as much as I can get done. I did have to find a toilet halfway round. It cost me about a quarter of an hour, but people are going to need a toilet. But then I picked up my block. You're allowed to pick up quarter of an hour early, so I picked up quarter of an hour early, so kind of getting quarter of an hour free, so that kind of cancels that out. So I was delivering until just after 12. It was like a 45-minute drive back to the depot. So I rang the help and said I'm not going to get these last 2 drops done, but the 2 drops were 5 parcels. And that's another thing. There were 2 drops, 5 parcels, but 5 different addresses. It kind of gets annoying, so they consider it as 1 drop. But because they're really close together, they think they'll do it as 1 drop. So we got 2 or 3 in one case. But it might be a block of flats, and you've got a different access door in some of these, or different floors of a tower block. God, it was an absolute nightmare. Thought it'd be a nightmare, and it was. Not helped by us delivering to one apartment block, and the concierge was on his lunch break. So I tapped on the door anyway, and he just pointed to the sign, had a big, look on his face, but you know what I mean? I just wanted to just point out to me where I needed to go, but he just wouldn't even come to the door. So that's what I did. I went back to the depot and I said to them, this is the first time, it's true, I've failed to deliver all the things. I've run out of time. And they said, oh, well, if you rung the helpline and you're struggling to get it done, they can, pay you a bit more money to finish it off. And I says, well, I didn't have time for that. I had booked in for another block. Need to get back here and do that. And I have to do that to make the day worthwhile. And then I said to her, well, and that's not really the case anyway, because if somebody was doing it, it's supposed to be a flexible thing, fit around your normal job and life commitments and stuff. So if somebody had to pick up or go to their normal job, and they've factored in how long it's going to take based on the block length, or pick up the kids or anything like that, or appointments. And she just kind of I do feel for the people in the depot because they get it in the neck. They don't control how long the blocks are and all that kind of stuff. But like I said to her, I'm not having to go at you or blaming you, but you work for Amazon. I'm just giving you feedback. So anyway, and I picked up the afternoon block, and that was thankfully in the countryside, but sadly really far west from the depot, like 25 miles west. Beautiful scenery, thing like that. But that took me like 2.5 hours for a 3-hour block. So if I did have something I had to take back to the depot, I probably could have done it within the 3 hours. And that, even though it was standard delivery, because it was countryside, I was driving between most drops. It's just the morning ones, the same day. And the evening ones are a bit of a pain as well. But I'm trying not to do them so much anymore. But the morning ones are, in particular, they just seem to be taking a mick with what they're pushing to see what they can get away with. But you may be thinking, why the hell do you do it then? And I've thought about that plenty of times myself, including today, but there ain't much option really at the moment because the CX is so crap. I don't have any of my own customers. I'm reliant on subby work through the CX in the van. So I will actually go through a few numbers this week. So I've gone through before what I've done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the van. Thursday and Friday identical days. So first block 51 quid, second block £43.50, which is £94.50, which isn't much of course, but I'm in the car. I'm just taking into account fuel costs in the car because I'm going to insure it, tax it anyway. Maintenance wise, I'm not going to do many miles in this car anyway, and it's just a good excuse to drive it. It's quite nice. It's quite good fun when you're out in the countryside. Yeah, so when I work out my earnings after costs for the 2.5 days on the CX, so it's like I say, a week of 2 halves really, roughly. So 2.5 days on the CX, 2 days flex in the car. So the CX, I reckon, after costs from 2.5 days, I earned 220 quid. So that's pre-tax deductions, but after costs. Not helped by doing nearly 99 miles home on a Wednesday when I just had enough and came home. So a lot of dead miles there. And then the flex 2 days, I've earned 155 quid. So kind of earning more doing the flex than I am at the CX at the moment. And I get to stay at home, cook a proper meal in the evening, you know, not eating from a chippy or kebab shop or Chinese takeaway. So yeah, that was the week. Pretty crap. I did ask yesterday at the Amazon place, sorry I missed you cards because I didn't have any, haven't had any for ages, been meaning to ask for some, so I asked for them and she gave me a massive wad of them, like way too many, so I gave them some back. They also gave me these bags, check out it. So I've put in the parcels in, I didn't even know they did these, so I thought I'd mention it. So things like envelopes, small packages, you can put them in there when you put them in a safe place to leave, which is outdoors. The parcels ain't going to get soaked, because I used a few of them yesterday, but not today because it's dry. And if I don't use them for CX, they're good to use in a van as just bin bags for my rubbish in. So that's the week. Still hard going on the CX, obviously. I reckon it's kind of quieter almost than it was early January and mid-January, because I was looking back, there was one week where I did actually do 5 days in January and I did like takings just under £1,000. Yeah, just struggling to do that now. Hopefully it's going to start picking up later this month, and I can knock the CX on the head, probably for good if I do move. Can't see me doing it in the future, but it's kind of, even though it's really frustrating and I get annoyed with Amazon because they just cut the block length when they shouldn't have done, they've gone too far. It is another option and it's keeping something coming in. Yeah, so that's the week really. As ever, any comments, please put them below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, thumbs up, all that jazz. Any tips, put them below for me or anyone else. Planning, I won't vlog next week, but I am planning to do 5 days, start on a Monday. See how far I get through the week. Do at least 3 days in the van. Can't do flex all week because you can't do that many hours. I think it's 22 hours a week max you can do, or 8 hours max a day, 22 over the week on a 3-week rolling average or something. But it's a bit unclear what you can do, but it's not a full-time gig, so I have to do something in the van. So I'll start in the van and then probably finish the week on the flex like I've done this week, and hopefully a couple more weeks of that, and then the CX will pick up and back to usual in the van. That's what I'm hoping for. So cheers for watching.